Friends, I've got so much to tell you about.
The venue was in this graveyard, so there was a ghost tour that I just walked past there in case you wondered, and take in this beauty.
Because I want to talk to you about Mona Awad event.
Should I start with the good news or the bad news?
Publisher book mail.
My favourite character is Claude the parrot, okay. Hello and welcome to another weekend reading vlog from me, Johanna. Me, my dog and books. I've come for a run and I'm meeting my cow friends. Hiya buddies. They're so adorable. So adorable. This weekend, 2 weekends before Halloween, and I've had to come out a run because I just finished The Long Walk by Stephen King, and that is a dark ending. I believe it might be slightly different to the movie, but I need to watch the movie to confirm. But wow, what a book. It's not horror, albeit it's dystopian, and the horrors that are of real life are in it. I just don't know how I feel. I mean, it was so tense. Like, the most of the book's tense because, you know, all these 100 young men have chosen, have applied and been selected to go on the Long Walk, which is a competition where they all walk at no less than 4 miles an hour, because if they do, they get a warning. They get up to 3 warnings, then they're shot dead. And they have to walk until only one survives. So with that premise, you know it's not going to be a happy chappy. But geez, the intensity as you get to know a kind of key group of characters. The main character being Ray, why have I just forgotten his name? Garrity. Alongside McVree and a few others who you start to understand and learn about, although do you ever really? Because a lot of the questions you're asking yourself is, why are they doing this? Why? Like, they're literally, the majority of them, only one's going to survive at the start is what you think from the book. I'm not telling you whether that's the case. And they're all walking to their death. There's a very strong moral commentary on authoritarianism and just kind of society. And actually reading this now, knowing when I read it, which was late 70s, 79, I might be wrong, like, this is so reflective of modern day, especially America. Like, it's like near future America. There's so much that's said about society. I'm on this run to understand my thoughts, and I might come back to you with a few more. But woofed, what a start to the weekend. I mean, I highly recommend it if you like dystopian dark fiction, and if you've seen the trailer for the movie, you'll get the gist. It's only about 330 pages, which is quite short for a King book. And he wrote this book under his pseudonym Richard Bachman. I'm not really sure why. I should really check that out. Anyway, I'm going to go for a run up this hill and along a bit to see some of my cow friends to try and make me smile. Oh my god, I've found some babies! Aren't they adorable? Look at this cutie. Look, you enjoying your hay? You're just giving a wee back scratch. You guys are adorable. Hiya. Hiya. Oh, look at your wee horns. Rocking those horns, lady. Oh my god, these are so gorgeous. I love you all. I love you all. Oh. Freedom! Do you want me to open the gate? I could, but it might end badly. Home after that run, which was good. The kids have had their breakfast, haven't you? And they're now waiting on their chew. I thought I'd done everything, but they're now waiting on their chew. So I'm going to do the really exciting thing of cleaning the bathrooms. I make it sound like I've got a house with loads of bathrooms. I just have a WC in the bathroom, you know. Anyway, I've neglected my duties, so I'm going to have to do that and getting their chews out. torches. Wait, you see this? Hold on. I'm just going to put you there. This is a picture of Lucy outside. It's an annoying noise. Outside Kelvin Grove Art Gallery and Museum a number of years ago. As you can see, she's got no white on her face. So that's there. And then this is Lucy on a beagle run with another dog called Alfie. But look at her running. She was a very good runner, weren't you, Lucy? She's right there waiting to get potato chews. So I'll give that a patty, actually. So they get this after the breakfast. Lucy has clearly seen me do this, so I'm going to give them it. Anyway, clearing bathrooms. Weekend fun is just beyond. Anyway, hold on. Lisa. And then Patty. She jumps in her bed waiting for it. So the only thing that gets me through such exciting chores is an audiobook. And I'm currently listening to September House, this September House, which I've been wanting to read for about 2 years. And I'd requested it on Libby ages ago, and it came through at a very timely time. And obviously it's obviously it's not obvious, but it's about a haunted house, right? And every September weird stuff happens in this house, and the owner, she has been in this house 3 or 4 years, and her husband, they've got through 3 Septembers where just wild stuff happens in the house, and her husband's like, I can't live here anymore, can't deal with it. And she's like, I'm not leaving, I love this house so much. So he's kind of gone missing. Also, the loudest drinker in the land. Got a wee paw. It's a wee paw like that. Anyway, and her daughter's like, where's dad? Where's he missing? And then she's having to explain that this weird stuff that happens in the house. Like, one of the weird things is every September, blood drips down all the walls, and she's given up cleaning it because by October it disappears. At the moment, it seems overly over the top. Like, I know it's a haunted house, right? But I believe you can do that in a relatively realistic, creepy way. Anyway, jury's out at the moment, but I'm going to listen to it and get clean in the bathrooms, and I'll check in with you later. Oh, did I tell you? Tonight, I am taking you to Edinburgh. Me and my friend Bethany are going to see Mona Awad, writer of Bunny, which I loved. This is for our new book, We Love You, Bunny. She also wrote Rouge, which is a very dark, satirical look at the beauty industry and women's beauty. She writes weird, feminist kind of horror, and not stereotypical horror. I didn't love Rouge, enjoyed it, didn't love it as much as Bunny. Bunny I absolutely adored, so I'm excited to see that, so I'll take you with you. And these two are just going to run around and sleep around my feet while I clean. I won't film that because it's dull as. This is me getting the tram into Edinburgh city centre. It's not this fast. Heading to the venue, and here's our Willie in a skeleton outfit. And now a big fancy hotel, and we're just heading round the corner. Now, Edinburgh isn't like Paris. You can see the castle from everywhere, but the castle is just over there. It's a lovely evening. And there is a ghost bus tour, which I kind of wish I'd gotten onto, to be fair. Now, much to my delight, the venue was in this graveyard. So there was a ghost tour that I just walked past there, in case you wondered. And take in this beauty. It is autumnal and dark and spooky. And that there is the church that we are going to see a Mona Awad in. I was just in so much joy. Now, this is where I queued with my friend Bethany to get into the venue, and honestly I could have stood there for ages. It was just so beautiful. Check it. Then wait till you go indoors. Yes, it is stunning. There's lovely Bethany too, but what a venue. And we were really close to the author as well. I just loved it. So good. Morning, friends. I've got a wee tired face because it was a late night for me last night. I didn't record during the event with Mona Awad because it was quite quiet, and I think the sound wouldn't have been great, and I didn't want to annoy people. But I will insert some pictures and stuff when I talk to you about the event in a wee mo. But first, I wanted
to open my first spooky advent calendar tea with you, so let's go. Right, excuse all the mess and this needs to go in the recycling. Right, I have my spooky. So we're officially 13 days to Halloween, including Halloween, because I wanted to include a tea on my Halloween, which would be whatever's 13. That one, I think. Or do I count? Oh my god, do I go 1 to 13 or do I do 13 to 1? So I know technically if you have an advent calendar, it starts with 1 and then you make your way to 25, for example, for a Christmas one. Now this one is 1 to 13 because it's spooky season. Also, yes, my clock is very loud. And you see, the difference is I either start here, because that's 13, or here. Now, the reason I'm asking this question is because number 1 looks much bigger than number 13, so do I start there? I feel like I need to start with 13, and then this would be... I might have... Why is this so hard for my brain? Right, after a quick WhatsApp discussion with my two lovely friends, Rachel and Bethany, because this is a countdown and not dates, so it's a countdown to Halloween. We're going to start with 13 days till Halloween. Oh no, I should have started this yesterday. Then it'd be 1 day to Halloween. Did I get to have 2 today? Oh. Choices. Okay, I've put way too much thought into this. So we're 13 days until Halloween. No, we're not. We're actually 12 now. But let's just go with it. I have to open this off screen because I'm not that good. This one is. I don't know what it is. It doesn't tell me. Oh, wait a minute. Bright red and scarily delicious cherry tea for spooky season. If I could only... Oh, look at that. Look at that. Let's make tea. The kettle is on, so let's put spooky mug. Let's go. Hocus pocus. Yes, that seems like the plan. Waiting on the teapot. I had to put you down for a second there because there's only so much I can do with one hand. So in we go. Let's... Cherry tea for spooky season. Now, I'm not normally into fruity tea, so I'll let you know. Okay, despite the fact I'm not a massive fruit tea lover, I am really liking this. It's actually not too bitter, and it's quite smooth. Says me, like some tea connoisseur. Anyway, I'm having this. Got the ambience on, and I've started reading. I'll put it here. Yeah, weird cover, right? It's an indie published book called Go To. Oh my god. Beginning. Look, Pumpkin Man. Jane, Creepslandia. None of that is the author's name. Anyway, it's a novella full of pumpkin slasher kitsch stuff, so I'll report back. Look at Patty. She's sleeping here. Ah, the chill vibes. Oh, friends, it's such a wet day. So, look, I'm wearing, this is Elite Yoga, is the yoga class I go to. She's selling sweatshirts last month, so I bought them. Anyway, I'm going to pause the washing machine. That's 4 dog jackets in the washing machine right now because it's been so wet and rainy. Anyway, I've got 2 things to show you. I've got a charity shop haul, oopsie, and a wee food top up from Aldi haul. So, got myself some snacky snacks. I sometimes like these with like salsa or hummus, but we have like, don't know if you have this in other countries, it's like the green light, the traffic light system. So if it's red, it's like really high in fat or salt. So these seemed okay on the traffic light front. Probably still got stuff that I shouldn't be eating, but anyway.
bananas, because I eat one every day at least, and I wanted to make banana muffins at some point. The OH loves avocado. You can never buy more. You can only buy, but you can never buy more than 2. I don't normally buy much processed food, but I decided that I'd probably have this with potatoes and veg for dinner tonight. It's like a grilled courgette, red pepper, slow roasted tomato and herbs. It's like a non-meat fillet. So I was going to make something, but I thought I'd go a bit low key. My leftover sweet potato fajitas. Then these are always handy for during the week. Meat-free mince, like soya mince. So sometimes I get this one, which is Aldi's make, or Linda McCartney does a nice big value bag. Corn do them, but they're not vegan because of the egg in them. But if that doesn't bother you can do corn. But they're very handy. And it cooks super quick. Then, never go wrong with a bag of frozen vegetables. I will have, like, I like fresh vegetables, of course, but these are always handy to have in the freezer. And often what I do with the pups is when I'm putting out their lunch. So once I've given them their breakfast after their morning walk, I put their lunch out, like, leave it aside, especially if the dog walker's in. So I'll put dry food, and sometimes I'll top it up with some frozen veg, and by the time it's lunchtime they're defrosted. And that gets your veggies, gets your veggie vitamins. So, plus it's always handy to have should you run out of fresh vegetables. And that was it. Then I popped to the charity shop because I had a couple of things to drop in, and stuff happened. It's mainly because the local Bernardo's charity shop has a lot of their Christmas stuff in. And I have to say, charity shops are a gold mine for Christmas stuff. Me and my friend do a £10 Christmas gift where all of it has to come from the charity shop. So I was keeping an eye for that, but that's actually not the reason I bought some of this stuff. It's great for Christmas jumpers, Christmas deckies. A guy was in there and he bought a box of Christmas crackers, you know, unused. Perfect. So what did I get? Completely unnecessary purchases. Blanket, Christmassy blanket with dogs. Didn't need that. I didn't need that. I'll wait till you see this. I really didn't need this, but look, come on. It's Minnie Mouse with like a Christmas onesie on. What's there not to like? Then, right, I was looking, actually always look, see when you're looking at the Christmas jumpers, right, you know how like shops gender clothes, right? Well, always look in the guys section. Sometimes you get winners. They didn't seem to have a lot of women's Christmas jumpers, so I was looking in the guys section. I don't need any more Christmas jumpers because I have a bag for life full up in my attic. But look what I got. This was in the guys section. It was medium-sized Christmas pyjamas. Absolutely perfect. I don't know what's wrong, don't care. But it's like new. I'm sorted, right? And then, because I want to get into another hobby, and I haven't done it yet, but I've got all this stuff. And I was always thinking, like, when I want to try and paint bookmarks, don't know how I'm going to do that yet. Okay, I'm still figuring it out. I've been mentioning this for the last million vlogs, right? But I thought it'd be quite good to get an easel. But I've never really looked into it, and I thought it'll probably be quite pricey. And look what there was, right? A paint set with an easel and acrylics paints. Now I don't plan on doing acrylic paints, but my friend paints in acrylics, so I'll just give her that. Or and look, like I couldn't afford to get this in like a art shop. And of course, socks, unicorns, and this one's a fox. I mean, who doesn't love cozy socks that pretty much almost go up to your knees? So that was not an unnecessary purchase. I also have other stuff to talk to you about. I have publisher book mail, and I have my Mona Awad author event to tell you about, and I have a little Etsy delivery. But stay tuned. Friends, I've got so much to tell you about. First up is this little treat I treated myself to, which are seasonal wax melts from a little indie creator called Conkers and Cozy. And I'm not gonna lie, these smell amazing, right? They have a whole range of Gilmore Girl ones and Christmas ones. So I got I Am Autumn, Suki's Maple Pecan Danish, cotton-headed Ninny Muggins for Christmas, and then Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal. They're all soy wax melts, so there's not got any nasties in them. Honestly, it smells amazing. So I'll link their Etsy in my description. And that came from it was a lovely recommendation on Instagram from one of the women that I get some of my sweaters from, Stitches, I've linked before. Now, I have a package, but I shan't open that yet because I want to talk to you about Mona Awad event. Wow. Hold on. Oh, honestly, it was just so good. So me and my friend Bethany went, and it was set in St Cuthbert's Church in Edinburgh, which is within a graveyard. I mean, epic book event vibes setting. That's where Joe Hill is next week, so I'm very excited about that. Perfect weather, and it was spooky. So me and my friend Bethany took a picture of us in the graveyard after the event. But it went long. She was discussing Mona Awad. So this was a Toppings and Co event. They're an independent bookseller. They've got, I think they've only got 4 or 5 bookstores. There's 2 in Scotland, 1 in Edinburgh, and no, 3 in Scotland, I think. Edinburgh, Ely, and St Andrews. I think there's 1 in Bath, down in England. Anyway, Mona Awad was there to talk about We Love You, Bunny, which is the sequel to Bunny. Now, this came out in 2019. I only actually read it this year ahead of, because I really wanted to go and see Mona Awad with my friend, because there was something about her writing style that I quite like. She also wrote a book called Rouge, which is a kind of satirical feminist horror take on the beauty industry, which I liked but didn't love. In saying that, after hearing her talk about it a little bit at that event on Saturday night, I'm a little like, I think I want to reread it. So I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for a second-hand copy, I think, so I can reread it, because when I read it on audio, I think. Anyway, now, if you've not read Bunny is a bit genre bending, as in it's not stereotypical horror. It's got horrific elements. It's about female friendship. It's about belonging. It's about cliques. It's about being an outsider. And it's also about slight magical realism in that, you know, it's got Frankenstein elements where, well, let me explain. So the main protagonist is Sam Mackey, or Samantha Heather Mackey. She is at MFA. She's doing an MFA program. She's a Master of Fine Arts, maybe? Anyway, creative writing. She's doing creative writing at this university. She feels like very much of an outsider, right? She lives in her car. She's not privileged, unlike a clique of girls who are called the Bunnies. They refer to each other as Bunny. And these girls are basically not Sam's kind of friends, but the lure of them, and when they invite her along, she's like, oh, maybe I'll suss out what these girls are all about. But effectively what I would describe as a mix of like Heather's, Mean Girls, and The Craft. And the reason I bring in The Craft is that these bunnies use bunnies to create boys in a Frankenstein's monster kind of way. And So they have a wee bit of, that's a crafty element, where they create boys that they think they wish to create, okay? So that's all I'm going to say about that. It's a great book that it's both satire, feminist horror, magical realism. There's so much in it. I love the writing style. It made me laugh. There is gory bits and I really enjoyed it. And so in book 2 that just came out, We Love You Bunny, it follows, I think she said 2 years on from Bunny, where Samantha has written a book about her time with the bunnies. And the bunnies are raging about it. And so while Samantha is on a book tour, for her tour, the bunnies kidnap her, keep her in is it an attic? Either way, I don't know. But they keep her, they kidnap her and keep her pretty much captive as her old frenemies decide that it's about time Sam found out what their thoughts are about this book and tell their real story of each of who they are. So this is where you go from Samantha being the main character to the bunnies being the main characters in their story. Honestly, like, I am absolutely here for this. I think it's the kind of book where I really, really want to read pretty immediately, which I'll say that about any new book I get, but I really mean it. So this is getting read before Christmas and I'll keep you posted. The event was amazing. She was amazing. She talked a lot about being outsiders and vulnerability. And honestly, I was mesmerised by her talk. I could have listened to her for ages. This was me and my friend Bethany fangirling. And in this picture, well, actually, I got a close-up. There's a picture of was it crocheted? It's kind of like a knitted bunny with an axe. And the wee bunny was wearing a pearl necklace. And one of our fans made it. And she got gifted it on the book tour like a month ago. And she takes it everywhere with her now. And I'm like, that is so amazing. Anyway, let me know if you've ever read Bunny. Plan to read Bunny. And if you've got a hold of We Love You Bunny. Word on the street is there might be a third book. I mean, I would adore to see this like adapted. And then I got a package, and I think this might be one that the doggies would be excited for. Both napping. I have to put them in their dog walk. Oh, it's got a yellow. Oh, look. Nice big, your bright yellow box. This is from HarperCollins, and I think it's, oh, the doggies are going to love this. There's doggy biscuits, the dog's balls, and I thought this might be what it is because I got a sampler, and it is The Year of the Dog by Sophia Money-Coates. How one tiny terrier ruined my sofa but saved my life. Honestly, this sounds like such a fun little book. It says, it's a love story but not as you know it. Armed with Pinterest perfect plans and firm ideas about trading, Sophia brings Dennis, a scruffy and defiant Parson Terrier, into her life. But just as the puppy pads hit the floor, the rest of the world falls apart. Suddenly, single and quietly unravelling, Sophia finds herself solo parenting a tiny gleeful agent of chaos who devours foam earplugs, destroys her shoes, and has an alarming taste for spiders. He's also the only thing keeping her afloat. As the months roll by in a haze of dodgy first dates, sleepless nights and meltdowns in the park, Sophia begins to make sense of it all. The grief of a life that didn't go to plan, the weirdness of being single in your late 30s, and the surprising ways love shows up when you least expect it. By the end of their first year together, Dennis hasn't just wrecked the furniture, he's quietly rebuilt her life. And it says, a book for anyone who's ever been through shattering heartbreak. This is a story of quiet resilience, unpredictable joy, and the comforting bulk of a small body curled up beside you when it matters most. she's an author and journalist. She's written for the likes of the Times, Daily Telegraph, the New York Times, Ellen Tatler. So that's Sophia there. But I'm not going to lie. The kids are going to be excited about this. I'm surprised. I think Patty's sussed it. Oh! But yes, so thank you to HarperCollins and Imprint HQ Stories. Thank you to me, but also Conkers and Cozy for my treat to myself. If you haven't read Bunny, please read it. Honestly, it's wild in a great, weird fiction, weird feminist fiction, unhinged way, and I adored it. So first up, before I actually think I need to make some soup, I'm not going to lie, right? I've realised the spooky calendar, advent calendar thing, right? So I figured out pretty quickly after getting a wee tub of matcha that I was counting it from 13 down to 1 days before, because it's a 13, right? 13 because, you know, Friday the 13th, 13th is a spooky number. So I assumed that it was a 13-day countdown to Halloween. But I've since realised, since like I've figured out the box number 3 has a matcha bamboo whisk, which you needed for box number 12, which was the matcha. I have since tried making matcha, and it was an epic fail. I had the bamboo whisk, and it says a splash of water, and you whisk it for a minute and a half, and I did it for 3 minutes. My arm nearly fell off. The matcha didn't go frothy. It looked like beef stock as opposed, well, it was toffee apple, so there's maybe, so didn't it look bright green like you get in the fancy shops? And I'm not sure I liked it. And I love green tea, but I think matcha isn't for me. So I've clearly messed up how the spooky advent calendar should work, but hopefully back on track, and I think I'm giving up matcha tea. But yeah, maybe I should try a professionally made one before I make that decision. For now, I'm off upstairs to record Wednesday's video, which will be about, it's an autumn tag, because a lovely Jen from Jen's Reading Life tagged me in it. And I thought it was such a brilliant little video. I really enjoyed watching hers, so I'll link that below. So I'm off to answer the autumn tag questions for you. We're on our lunchtime dog walk. Because we're on a wee path, it's away from the road. And there's nobody here. I sometimes let Patty off. She's a good kiddo. Come on, Patty. Patty. Hey, what's this? Patty. Come on, good kiddo. This just stays on leash. So, out with the doggos, and are you still here, Patty? There you go. And I started listening to Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison, and wow. The first few pages, it absolutely escalates super fast in that the main character, Aura, hits something with her car, and she comes out and she's like, oh my god, was that a deer? What? This thing ends up biting her. And then later on, she's got a twin sister called Scarlett, who have got a really good relationship. And later on, she starts to notice that things are happening to her. Like, she smells a bit of wet dog, and she's got like super shiny hair. And so far I'm really enjoying it. It's really good. I love Rachel Harrison's sort of writing. It's always got like a kind of comedy horror element, but with like a really strong like feminist angle. Anyway, where are you, Patty? Stay close. So that's what we're reading, and I'm just going to go back home soon. I'm going to make some carrot and lentil soup, which is one of my go-to recipes. What's she doing? And edit my Wednesday video for you. She better not be going in there. And so it's the end of another weekend reading vlog, and I've got 2 books to tell you about. Should I start with the good news or the bad news? Bad news, although it's not bad, right? But first up, I read Still Life by Sarah Winman because in my long-standing book group, it was the book I picked for discussion. The reason I picked it is because everybody on the internet was saying it was the best book they've ever read, forever, amen. And I picked it up at the charity shop months ago, and I thought, this is a good way to ensure I read the book, but also have a good discussion around it, because I thought I was going to love it. And don't hate on me, I didn't. Like, the rest of my book group adored it, they loved it, they thought it was, you know, it's a story that follows Ulysses. So it starts in 1944 during the war in Tuscany, and it follows a British soldier who meets Evelyn, who's 64, and she's an art historian who's living her life there, right? And they become friends. She's there to salvage artwork during the war. And then it goes to when Ulysses goes back to London at the end of the war, to his girlfriend. Stuff happens there. There's a kid. There's a kind of small group of found family. There's his time in London. And then there's Evelyn's time later on. And when he goes to Florence, I think anyway. So it's a bit sweeping in respect of really well built characters, like really well written characters. And it's a story about found family and the power of art to an extent, because obviously that's what Evelyn does, but she brings element of art and her love of art into Ulysses' life. And then you see the kind of brutality, or not, of what Ulysses has to deal with, the friendships he makes, the found family he has. It's really a book about hope, and apparently Still Life is the name of it because, now I was thinking maybe because it was an arty term, like when you do still life drawings, and maybe it's got that double meaning, but it's because life never stands still. Life is always moving, and you follow these people through, and they were amazingly written characters, and it is a chunk. So I would say for me, for a lot of people, they love it. They love the sweeping kind of epicness of the story and the characters and the warmth of it. And it's certainly, if you're looking for a book about that's just hope and is good vibes, this is that book. For me, I was pulled in at the start, which is different from one or two people in my book group who said it took them a while to get into it and then they loved it. But for me, I was grabbed in at the start. I was like, oh, I'm liking the setting. I'm liking the, a kind of slightly older character, and then the young British soldier. And then I'm liking, my favourite character is Claude the parrot, okay? But I got halfway through and it lulled. I started to get a bit detached from the story, and I started to get a bit bored. And I think this is more a me thing than the book, because so many people love it. So if you like the sound of it, please do check it out. I would say it's maybe a 2.5 star. Only because I think if I hadn't been reading it for book group, I would have DNF'd it. Sorry. But then to a book I loved. It's Stephen King, The Long Walk. And unsurprisingly for Stephen King, this is quite a short book for him. Now, this was first written in 1979 under the pseudonym Richard Bachman. And I wanted to read this before watching the film, which is already out. And it's a dystopian set in near future America, right? In 1979, right? It could pretty much be nowadays. And 100 young boys and men apply to enter into this national competition called The Long Walk, where they have to walk non-stop at no less than 4 miles an hour until there's only one remaining. And that 99 of them die, and the winner is the person that is the last one standing, and they get to win whatever they want for the rest of their life. At what cost does that happen? It follows a main character who's 16-year-old Ray Garrity, who is accepted in his application to do the Long Walk. And so that's the main character, and you're following him in a kind of small group of people that he connects with doing the Long Walk. And you start, as you go through the book, they're losing more and more people. they are allowed 3 warnings. Say if they stop, if they drop anywhere below 4 miles an hour, for example, they will get a warning. They get 3 warnings after that. They are shot dead. So it's not a happy chappy book. It's actually brutal, devastating, unsettling, but so fantastically written. I spent a lot of the time going, why did these guys put themselves forward for the walk? Why are you doing this? And Stephen King does a great way of trying to explore that with the characters. Like, why are some of these characters doing this when they've maybe got a pregnant wife at home, or they're not necessarily on a end of life mission, but that's effective, like looking for an end of life mission, but that's effectively what they're on. So there's all of that. It's very much commentary on authoritarianism and power and the dehumanisation of people. It was utterly outstanding. I think this is going to be in the kind of group of some of my favourite Stephen King books. I utterly adored it. If you don't, I mean, you're not going to come out the other side feeling amazing, whereas in this book you probably will. So, you know, very different books. I don't know what that says about me, but quite a few books finished. A few books I'm currently reading. I have started Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison. I'll tell you more about that in next weekend's reading blog. I have started Small Town Horror by Ronald Malfi. I'm getting really good small town adults going back to their small town place where something happened when they were young, and that's all playing out. Tell you more about that. I'm still reading Imaginary Friend. I'm taking it slowly because I don't want it to end. And I'm also reading Come Closer by Sarah Gran, tiny little horror novella, which I'm maybe only about 20% in, and it's creepy. But I'll update you about all of those in next weekend's reading vlog. So next weekend, my mum is over, looking after my mum. So we'll hopefully be doing some cosy Halloween autumnal stuff. Like I've got a new jigsaw for her to start with me. We have a pumpkin to carve, and if the rain stays off, we've got a local community Halloween celebration to attend. There may be some coffee and cake at a cafe outing. Who knows? But I'll keep you posted. So until then, happy reading. And if you did enjoy this video, please like and comment. Give me a autumn leaves emoji. And I look forward to seeing you in another bookish video very, very soon. Cheerio!